Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over concealers. If that seems interesting to you, stay tuned. First we're going to be going over my concealer correctors. I have several of them here. Let's first go over the green ones. This is the Makeup Forever Professional Green Concealer Corrector, and this one's actually pretty old, but it still works out pretty well. Has a nice green tone to help cover up those red spots. Has that nice putty. I do actually like that one. Next one is the LA Pro Concealer, and this one is actually a little bit more liquidy. And it has a brush tip applicator, but this one's also another good one too. Next are my under eye brighteners. This is actually my favorite one. I've been through so many of these. I think this would probably be like my 6th or 7th one. As you can see, this one's almost out. And this one I use as another, oops, that's the wrong one. That's the whirly white one. Oh, what'd I do with it? Here it is. This is the brightness concealer. And as you can see, it has more of a peachy tone, while this one has more of a lighter. This is the one I use on my body to cover up some of my scars, and this one I use in my under eye to help conceal any of the darkness. Next is another good one by Pixie. This one is a heavy duty peachy tone. As you can see, this one's a lot more heavy. So if you really got some really dark concealers, or maybe some tattoos you want to cover up, this would be a good concealer to use. I really like this Catrice under eye brightener. This one is a combination of both worlds, where it comes like in a putty form, like the Maybelline one, and it's very, very creamy. And this one really covers up the dark circles. I would have to say this one and the Maybelline are my both favorites. Next is actually a sample foundation. This is the Tarte 24-hour clay, and this is a sample that I had quite a while back. It should be thrown out actually. I think it's empty. Well, that solves this problem on that one. That one's empty. Oh, here's another peachy one I was confused by. Here's another peachy one. I don't like this one as much. I don't know, there's something about the texture. But I'll still keep it around to at least use it up. Here is one I actually just bought the packaging for. I haven't figured out how to empty it to put in my favorite concealer yet, but this is from the Physicians Formula. The cute little bow. And it has the brush tip. As you can see, I haven't even used it. I'm still trying to figure out how to empty this, so if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Next is another foundation sampler. This is called the Smashbox Studio 24-hour. I actually really like this one. I really need to use this one. But it's really nice and creamy. Almost a medium to full coverage texture. Feels really good on the skin. Next I have these two Juvia's Place concealers. This one's in the shade 24. This one's in the shade 23. This lighter one I use for my body, and this one I use for my face, and these are good to cover up blemishes. Under eye brightening's not so bad, but I use it more for around the face since it matches my face more. And my body's pretty light since I try to keep it out of the sun as much as possible. I'm what you call white rice. See, there's the lighter one, and there's more than one I use for my face. I have more of a cool tone complexion. Next is my ColourPop. This used to be one of my favorites, but I don't use as much anymore. This is in the color Fair 07, and it's a little bit too light for me now, but I did used to use this all the time. Here's another one. This one is called the True Skin by Catrice High Coverage Concealer, and this is in the color 01 Neutral Fair. It's a little bit too light for me. I seem to have a problem with that, but it does brighten under the eye. A little bit drying sometimes when they say it's a little bit hydrating, but this isn't a bad concealer. I do like it. Next one is the Huda Beauty in color Vanilla Swirl 3.1. I was a little bit too hopeful. They were having a big sale on their website, and the color that I want was in 2, and this one actually turned out to be a little bit too dark for me. So I kind of mixed this with foundation. See how dark of a skin color tone that is? That is way too dark for me. I will keep it though, since I did spend half the price on it, so I'll try to make it work. Another one I thought I liked was the Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay. This is in the color 05, and this one is in the color 01. This one, since it's almost pure white, I use for my body, and this one I use for my face. This isn't a very high coverage concealer, and the eye brightening's alright. I think it's a little bit too much of a thin consistency. I'll keep it around just to use it up though, but it's not one of my favorites. A lot of people really like this one, but I just don't think the coverage on it is very good. Next is, I got this in the subscription box. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand. One has a sponge tip applicator, and the other one is a wand that you pull out. This one's a little bit too dark for me, but I try to make it work and mix it in with my foundations. It's kind of a watery consistency, and it's an alright concealer. I haven't tried the Shape Tape at all. I am kind of curious about that. Next, this one I absolutely love. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer in Fair Rose. This is one of my favorite for eye brightening. You can also use this around the face, cover up blemishes, but it does have a nice medium to full coverage. Really cheap too. I do have the 16-hour concealer I keep in my purse. That one I don't need to powder down, but this one I do. So that's something I carry around. Next is the Too Faced Concealer Contour Highlight and Retouch in Swan. I absolutely love this concealer. It is medium to full coverage, glides well on the skin, blends easily. I mean, this is absolutely perfect. The only problem is the high price tag. Very comparable to the e.l.f. one though. Something I also love too is the NYX. Sorry about that. The NYX Bear With Me Concealer. This is in the color light, excuse me. This is in the color light. It's actually like a pump, and to be honest, I use this as a foundation. This is absolutely wonderful. Blends easily, has a nice cool complexion. It matches really well with my face and my skin tone, so I use this more as a foundation than anything, but one of my favorites. I absolutely love this. Another one I absolutely love is the Physicians Formula Natural Defense Concealer in the shade Fair. And I took out the sponge tip applicator on it because it clogged up. But it's one of those that you have to twist, and it matches with the skin really well. It blends easily, full coverage. I mean, this is one of my absolutely favorites. I've gone through 3 of these so far now, so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Another Huda Beauty one I got in the subscription box is the Overachiever Concealer. This is in the shade Marshmallow. This is the one that's more in my skin tone that I tried to get for the applicator one. It's one of those squeezy tubes. But this one I absolutely adore. Really full coverage. Works well under the eyes and around the face. Blends somewhat easily. Next is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Concealer. This actually smells really good. It smells like the butter bronzer and the blushes, and it has that nice coconut-y smell, and it has a nice wand applicator. This is a really good concealer. I really do like this. It has nice full coverage, blends easily. Highly recommend that. A little bit light for me, but I do like it. This is the LA Colors Conceal in Fair, and it has a brush tip applicator, and it's not my favorite. It blends all right. It's just a little bit streaky at times. It's cheap to buy, about $5. You can buy it at Dollar General, but it's not my favorite though. Next is the Dose of Colors Concealer in the shade 80 Light. I got this in the subscription box. It has a funny smell to it, and it was like that ever since I got it. But it is a really good concealer. Very full coverage. Blends well into the skin. I do recommend this one. Next concealer we have is the Complex Culture. This is in the shade F110. I also got this in subscription box, and they usually focus on hair products, but lately they have been doing some makeup products. But I do not like the applicator on this. I think it's supposed to be one of those soothing ones, but it doesn't pick up the product very well. But this concealer is not bad. It takes a little bit to blend. It is in the right shade, but it's alright. Next concealer I have is the Kylie Jenner in the shade Shell. And it has kind of discolored a little bit. I don't know why that's happening. And it does have a funny smell to it. It's probably expired. I probably should toss this one out. But this one is an alright concealer. It has too much of a little bit of a yellow undertone for me. It does blend easily, nice coverage. But I think this one I'm going to end up decluttering. Next one is another one from a BoxyCharm. This is the Pure Release BB Concealer in the shade Fair. And this one I do like. It a little bit goes a long way on this. There's just a dab. A little bit more there. But this one is a really nice concealer. It's a little bit more harder to blend because it dries up really fast. But this one is another good one to get. Next one is another foundation sampler. No, actually this is the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I forgot I had this, to be honest with you. This is a full coverage concealer. It's supposed to be amazing. Has a bit of a yellow undertone for me, so I might have to try to blend this in some more, but it is kind of dry. So I'm not too sure about this one, to be honest with you. And last but not least is the Jessica Block Liquid Concealer in the shade, not sure. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. And this one is actually a really nice concealer too. It's nice blendability, works well with the skin, and it dries down to a nice satin finish. I do really like this one. And that concludes all of my concealers. Thank you for tuning in, and if you'd like to watch some more of my makeup collection, I'll try to do blush and brows and eyeshadow palettes here in the near future, so stay tuned. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, and thank you for coming back if you are one. Thank you. Take care.